Hare Krishna. So I welcome all the devotees who are attending this recorded session on Bhadra campaign. So first of all, I would like to thank His Grace Antardip Prabhu and all the devotees and ask seek blessings of all my superiors, all my Shiksha Gurus, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Spiritual Master, His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, and all the senior Vaishnavas that they bless me and empower me so that I can share with all of you the important points which I have made for this presentation. So that will help everyone to distribute more and more Srila Prabhupada books. And currently in Bhadrapad campaign, we are targeting to distribute 25,000 Bhagavatam sets all over ISKCON, and ISKCON Pune temple is targeting 5,000 Bhagavatam sets. So I hope and pray that after seeing this video at the end of the presentation, you will be inspired very much to take up more and more preaching challenges and reach out to more people and encourage them, inspire them, and distribute them Prabhupada books. So I have given the title for this topic as Miracles During Bhadra campaign. So this campaign basically began from the day of 1st August 2021 when ISKCON Mayapur, there I saw the release of this Bhadra campaign by His Grace Brajavilas Prabhu and Jayapataka Maharaj. That video is still there on YouTube on Mayapur TV. So you can, if you have time, you can see that video. They have released on 1st August Sunday, and on 2nd August our Vijay Gopikesha Prabhu. I will speak about him more during the presentation. He also emphasized on distributing 125 sets minimum for every counselor and individually, and 5,000 sets minimum as a whole. ISKCON Pune has taken target. So I have given the title Miracles During Bhadra campaign. So all the miracles, like some of them which I experienced in past 1 month, I wanted to share with you. So we'll see how much we can cover in this presentation. So we'll begin from the here. So this is the title. And first we will sing one song, which is the preaching anthem for all the Vaishnavas. So the song name is Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan. That Nityanand Prabhu, he is the king of compassion. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has wrote this song for glorifying Nityanand Prabhu, who is the greatest preacher of our time in our whole acharya, in our whole sampradaya, in our whole parampara. So we'll sing this song and then we'll proceed ahead. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda, Nadiya Godrume Nitya Nanda Mahajan, Nadiya Godrume Nitya Nanda Mahajan. पातिया छे नाम हट्ट जीवेर कारण पातिया छे नाम हट्ट जीवेर कारण श्रद्धावान जन है श्रद्धावान जन है श्रद्धावान जन है श्रद्धावान जन है प्रभुर आज्ञाय भाई मागिए भिक्षा प्रभुर आज्ञाय भाई मागिए भिक्षा बोलो कृष्ण भजो कृष्ण कोरो कृष्ण शिक्षा बोलो कृष्ण भजो कृष्ण कोरो कृष्ण शिक्षा श्रद्धावान जन है श्रद्धावान जन है श्रद्धावान जन है श्रद्धावान जन है अपराध शून्य होय लोहो कृष्ण नाम अपराध शून्य होय लोहो कृष्ण नाम कृष्ण माता कृष्ण पिता कृष्ण धन प्राण कृष्ण माता कृष्ण पिता कृष्ण धन प्राण कृष्णेर संसार कोरो छाड़िया नाचार कृष्णेर संसार कोरो छाड़िया नाचार जीवेदोया कृष्ण नाम सर्वधर्म सार, जीवेदोया कृष्ण नाम सर्वधर्म सार। नदिया गोद्रुमे नित्यानंद महाजन, पातिया छे नाम हट जीवेर कारण। नदिया गोद्रुमे नित्यानंद महाजन, पातिया छे नाम हट जीवेर कारण। श्रद्धावान जन है, श्रद्धावान जन है, श्रद्धावान जन है, श्रद्धावान जन है। बोलो कृष्ण भजो कृष्ण करो कृष्ण शिक्षा, बोलो कृष्ण भजो कृष्ण करो कृष्ण शिक्षा। कृष्ण माता कृष्ण पिता कृष्ण धन प्राण, कृष्ण माता कृष्ण पिता कृष्ण धन प्राण। जीवे दोया कृष्ण नाम सर्वधर्म सार, जीवे दोया कृष्ण नाम सर्वधर्म सार, जीवे दोया कृष्ण नाम सर्वधर्म सार। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नित्यानंद राम जय नित्यानंद राम, नित्यानंद राम जय नित्यानंद राम। गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय, गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमती डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन बीबीटी संस्थापक आचार्य सेवर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद शिला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जी गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ षड गोस्वामी प्रभुगण की जय। इस्कॉन वर्तमान आचार्य विंद की जय। जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। इस्कॉन भद्रपद पूर्णिमा कैंपेन 2021 की जय। शिला भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। श्री गौरांग महाप्रभु की जय। संवेद गौरव भक्तवृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatare Shatarine. मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपात्महं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Jaitam, Surato Pangu, Mamanda Matirgatir, Matsarasa Padam Bhoja, Radha Madana Mohano, Taptakanjana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami, Hari Priye, Hare Krishna. So I have taken this verse from one of the purport written by Srila Prabhupada from CC. The verse is as all of you know already. Prithavit achejat nagaradigram sarvatra prachara haibe sarvatra prachara haibe moranam. The desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that all over the world, everyone in every village and every town know of him and his Sankirtan movement. Now again, by mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the same feelings are being spread all over the world by servants of the Goswamis, and devotees who are pure and simple will appreciate this attempt. As concluded by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, however, those who are on the level of hogs and dogs will never appreciate such a great attempt. Yet this does not matter to the preachers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult, for all over the world they will continue to perform their responsible work, even though persons who are like cats and dogs do not appreciate them. So this part, the second part Prabhupada is writing here, that people who are filled or who are drowning in Rajogun and Tamogun, they will be never be able to appreciate the thankless task what devotees are doing in order to preach Krishna consciousness. And they will always criticize devotees. Srila Prabhupada is comparing such people with cats and dogs, or Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says they are like shukar, they are like hogs. So we will discuss more on this when the slide will come in future presentation. How when we are calling people to take books or give some sponsorship for distributing Bhagavatam sets, how people will criticize us, make fun of us. So they are like this, which are mentioned here. They will never appreciate such an attempt which is done by the devotees to spread Krishna consciousness, which is the desire of Mahaprabhu. Prithavita Achita Nagaradigram, that in every town and village, my holy name will be chanted, and everyone will come together and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Sarvatra Prachara Haibe Moranam. Okay, we'll go ahead. So basically our presentation will have two parts. So in today's video I will cover the first part, that is beginning, and after this Bhadrapad campaign is done and the target is achieved, I will make one more video, and that video will be conclusion. In that video we'll discuss more about how after we collect order and how we should cultivate them and how we can preach more and more. So this first video, the beginning part, will establish the foundation, how we begin, and I will discuss in this presentation how we can collect order, how we can collect sponsorship, and if you have any queries, that will take up at the end. Where there is will, Krishna shows the way. So this is a famous statement by our Radhesham Prabhu. Many times he will quote this statement in his lectures, and that's why I have kept it here. Where there is will, Krishna shows the way. We should have strong desire to please Krishna, to serve Prabhupada, to preach Krishna consciousness. Then definitely, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Krishna will give all intelligence. Okay, so I want to begin with two important lectures which fan the spark, which give me tremendous boost to take up this impossible task. 2nd August 21, ISKCON Incorporation Day. So like I mentioned in the beginning, 1st August Sunday, there was opening of Bhadra campaign in Mayapur by Brajavilas Prabhu and very senior devotees and sannyasis. And 2nd August, His Grace Vijay Gopikesha Prabhu. All of you must be knowing about Prabhuji. Prabhuji is top book distributor in ISKCON temple from last couple of years, and last year he distributed 88,000 Mahabig books. He and his team of counsellors. So they distributed so many books despite lockdown and despite being caught up at home for long period of time. The counsellors and under his leadership, they could distribute so many books in thousands last year. So Prabhuji, on the day of ISKCON incorporation, he gave Bhagavatam class at NVCC, and the topic was 7 objectives of ISKCON. And in that, he emphasized how we should come forward, and take up the task of distributing 5,000 Srimad Bhagavatam sets collectively, and individually we should try to distribute at least 125 sets. So he was emphasizing that we can distribute Chaitanya Charitamrit, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada Lilamrita set also, and which will be a very good offering for Prabhupada's 125th birth anniversary, Vyas Puja celebrations. And he also said that ISKCON has target to distribute 25,000 Bhagavatam sets worldwide. So this presentation was really eye opener for me that I should also take up this task. And after presentation, I went to meet with Prabhuji one to one personally, and I was asking him, "Ki Prabhuji, every year you distribute thousands and thousands of books." So Prabhuji told me that last year he wanted to distribute 1 lakh books, but he falls short by 12,000. And this year he's targeting 125,000 books, means 1,25,000 books as an offering for Prabhupada's 125th appearance. So so I was really touched that one devotee, he is so fired up and inspired to distribute thousands and lakhs of books. So it really gave me boost. So from there I took this number, 125 sets. So I thought he is distributing 1,000 sets for this Bhadrapada campaign. So at least I should try for 125 sets. So this is how it gave the seed. Seed was already there because I attended that online festival of Bhadra campaign, but it got nourished and watered because of the association and encouragement given by His Grace Vijay Gopikesha Prabhu. Again, next, one more lecture I heard which gave me tremendous boost by our Radhesham Prabhu. The topic is coming out of comfort zone. So, in that lecture, Prabhuji was mentioning about 3 zones: comfort zone, stretch zone, panic zone. So, comfort zone, Prabhuji told very brilliant point in the class. I really liked it. He said that 80% people will like to remain in their comfort zone. Comfort zone is characterized by boringness, m- monotonous things, doing same thing every day, lifelessness, fearfulness, and miserliness. This miser word we'll again discuss more in future slides. That person likes to remain miser. He doesn't want to contribute beyond certain limit, and he likes to remain in the bubble of I, me, mine. Then stretch zone. Stretch zone is adventurous, alive, exciting, giver zone, we call it, because he likes to give, extend, and serve more and more. He wants to stretch to surrender. And panic zone is like it is going in extreme. It is like towards passion, tired, frustrated, exhausted. All these characteristics are given under panic zone. So we can see that comfort zone is more or less it is in ignorance. Panic zone is it is in passion, and stretch zone it is in goodness. So it is balance is required. We should not go into extreme. We should not fall into comfort zone, or we should not fall into panic zone. We should remain balanced, and that requires good amount of maturity. Also, in that class, Prabhuji was mentioning about the 8 defeats what Prabhupada faced after going to America for 1 year. From 17 September 1965, Prabhupada reached that Boston Harbor till 8th August 1966. 1 year, Prabhupada had to face couple of defeats. So he gave eight defeats what Prabhupada faced, defeat after defeat after defeat, but he never gave up. How Prabhupada never gave up, considering the goal and mission. His Guru Maharaj in 1922, Srila Bhajan Thakur told him that you are a well-educated man. Why don't you preach the message of Lord Chaitanya to the Western world in English language? And at that time, Prabhupada had some conversation with his Guru, and he was completely convinced. And later, in 1934 or 35, Prabhupada again met his spiritual master in Radhakund, and there his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Thakur Prabhupada, he instructed him that there is a fire in the mud. It is better to sell off the marbles, and we should use them for printing and distributing of books. And then he gave historical instruction to Srila Prabhupada that if you ever get money, you should print books and distribute them. Print books and distribute them. So these two instructions Prabhupada took to his heart as his life and soul, that I want to preach the message of Krishna consciousness in English language to the Western world, and I will print books and distribute them. So you can see Prabhupada when he was alone in the years 19 from after taking from 1955 till 1965 for around 10 years. Prabhupada was struggling alone. In that time period, Prabhupada wrote Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, and he used to single-handedly go and do the manuscript proofreading. Everything he used to do alone, and he used to go out and distribute those books at a very, very cheap price. If people are not willing to take, sometimes he used to give free of cost. So we can see how Prabhupada struggled so much for distributing these books, especially Srimad Bhagavatam. So in that lecture, Prabhuji was telling that enthusiasm, we can learn enthusiasm from Prabhupada. We can learn everything from Prabhupada. Prabhupada is all perfect. All 26 qualities which are there in a perfected human being are exemplified by Srila Prabhupada. So enthusiasm means that without which you will never succeed in any field of life. So this definition he quotes in his lecture. So we can see how Prabhupada was enthusiastic. Even after facing defeat after defeat, he never gave up. 80% people will remain in either of the two. They would like to remain either in comfort zone or sometimes they will fall into panic zone. But 20% will stretch to excel and achieve more by coming out of comfort zone and they will take up more responsibility. Prabhupada in the book Second Chance, I have quoted some sentences from that book in my presentation further. Prabhupada says that if you want to make swift advancement in spiritual life, the key to success in spiritual life is to take up more and more responsibility for the mission of Guru and Krishna. ऐसा प्रभुपाद बोलते हैं उसके अंदर. So we should take more responsibility and we should not remain always in comfort zone. We should try to come out of comfort zone and stretch ourselves to do something substantial and tangible in the mission of Prabhupada, Guru and Krishna. And we can see from the life and example of Radhesham Prabhu himself, like he was explaining in that lecture, how he started when lockdown was there, he started Gita Rahasyam, and then he started um, Bhagavad, Bhagavad Rasmalayam, and then he conducted the 21 demons what Krishna killed in Vajlila. And he also took 19 lectures from NOD, Nectar of Devotion. Then he took 11 lectures from NO, Nectar of Instruction. Like this, Radhesham Prabhu himself, he has exemplified this principle, and every day he has to respond to so many emails, and he would not get even 5 hours sleep. But Prabhuji stressed himself, and now we can see so many people are getting benefited by his endeavors in last 1 year post Corona period. So we should. This lecture is very important. I request all of you, both the lectures you can hear, the previous one, the incorporation day lecture given by His Grace Vijay Gopi Keshav Prabhuji, and this lecture coming out of comfort zone by His Grace Radhesham Prabhuji. If possible, please hear these two lectures, and you will get tremendous boost to distribute and serve Prabhupada in best possible way. Okay, we'll go ahead. Then two books which I am reading frequently nowadays, and earlier also I read, which inspired me the most, are as follows. First is Our Family Business. This book is written by Vaisheshika Prabhu. This book is very much important for every book distributor. In this book, His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, who is the pioneer of book distribution. Actually, this concept of Bhadra campaign was given by him only way back in 2017 or 18. That was the first year of Bhadra campaign where they targeted to distribute 10,000 Bhagavatam sets. Now in 21, we are targeting to distribute at least 25,000 Bhagavatam sets. So thanks to Vaisheshika Prabhu, he's sitting in San Jose in Silicon Valley in his room and he's shaking the whole world from one place. He's conducting Zoom meetings and he's inspiring preachers and leaders and encouraging them to distribute sets after sets after sets of Prabhupada in lakhs and lakhs of quantities. So he quotes this famous principle again and again in the books, in his book of Family Business, that books are the basis, utility is the principle, purity is the force, and preaching is the essence. These four things he quotes repeatedly, and he gives four principles of book distribution. First and foremost, your sadhana must be very strong. Sadhana, our Radhesham Prabhu says, strong sadhana means strict morning program. So reading, hearing, chanting, everything should be very, very pakka. Means our sadhana is going strong. Then second thing is says get books. So getting books is not a problem nowadays. As soon as you get order, you can place the order on Julia's website and they will dispatch and deliver and do everything. So that will be very easily taken care. Then third thing is says the more you show, the more you sell. So I paraphrased it as the more you speak, the more you will get orders. Like what I do means that again I will explain in the future slides. The more I will call more and more people, and they will be inspired to take more and more books. So And I have seen in places where books are available very easily, people are not taking books from there, but they're taking books from here. It's called Pune Temple. Why? Because we are propagating more. So the more you show, the more you sell. This principle is applicable in every field of life. Anything you want to sell, the more you propagate it, the more you do publicity, advertisement. Like television, for example, television industry, advertisements which they show all of us on the television, it is bombarding our head with all those things. Even if it is not needed, fellow will go out and he will purchase the same thing which he has heard 100 times on TV, because the more you show, the more you sell. It is a common सेलिंग प्रिंसिपल दैट जितना ज़्यादा आप दिखाओगे लोगों को उतना ज़्यादा उनका लेने का चांसेस बढ़ेगा. Then fourth point is you must organize. So for organization, again, like this point I have covered in future slides, we can we can have a network of devotees and we can ask them to spread more awareness about this Bhadra campaign to purchase Bhagavatam set, CC set, Prabhupada Lilamrita set, and in this way, in an organized way, we can spread out and collect more orders and distribute more number of sets, more number of books. Then in the book, Prabhuji is giving a lot of emphasis how this Prabhupada books, they are like time bombs, and he makes the famous quote that pain is mightier than sword. If you see all the revolutions which have happened in history, French Revolution and Russian Revolution, all the revolutions which have happened, there are a big role of the philosophers like Voltaire, Karl Marx. All these people, they have played a major role in creating Kranti, in creating intellectual revolution in the minds of youth. And these people later they uprooted the whole British Empire and established the freedom. So, and he gives the example of communism, how it spread in India. Like he was telling, he spoke this in lecture also when he came to Pune, that no Russian communist or Russian philosopher came to India. What they did, they distributed pamphlets and books in local languages in millions and millions and million copies. And people started reading those books. People started reading those books and they started appreciating the ideas given by the communist like Karl Marx. And that's how, when the seed of communism entered the intellectually the top class people of India, for example, it spreaded all over India. So that's how they propagated this communism through books. No- So a person may not be able to go everywhere, but books can go anywhere and everywhere. That's what Prabhupada called his books as he called book distribution as Brihad Mridangam, because the mridanga which we play in our temple or in our voice, it can resound the whole building. But the Brihad Mridangam, the book distribution, can resolve the whole universe. So Prabhupada was very much emphasis that Brihad Mridanga, it is like big Mridanga. So printing press, yeah, Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's spiritual master, he would become very happy. Even if his disciple, they will go out and sell one newspaper or one what is that Sajjan Toshni or one magazine, he would become so happy that he has distributed that Krishna's message. He has given spiritual books outside or magazine or pamphlet. So a lot of emphasis has been given in our movement on propagating Krishna consciousness through book distribution. And Prabhupada said, like, my books are like time bombs. As soon as they will read my book, Prabhupada used to say so many times that even if they read one page, or even if they read one paragraph, or even if they read one word, that is potent enough to change their whole life. And this is a famous quote of Prabhupada: if you want to please me, distribute, distribute, and distribute my books. So there is a whole book written by His Holiness Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj on book distribution. The title is, I think, same only. D- Distribute books, distribute books. So that title he has given. And in the volume 6 of Lilamrit, whole volume talks about book distribution. How the book distribution started in ISKCON, and we have heard the so many stories like in Los Angeles, some devotees were going to fill the petrol and they were not having money, so they showed Krishna book uh, to the petrol vendor, and he was impressed, and he took the book in return of filling the petrol. So that's how the first book in ISKCON went, and in this way, the book distribution happened after that in all corners of America, and gradually it came to India, and now we can see that India and Pune also from last couple of years they are number one in distributing millions and millions and millions of books. So, but we have to see how the book distribution began from America, and now uh, it is spreading everywhere in all continents of the world. Okay, we'll go ahead. So this is the first book which all of you can read. If you don't have, you can buy a copy and read it. Our Family Business by His Grace, Vaisheshika Prabhu. This is the second book which Prabhupada, which talks about Prabhupada life in very detailed manner. Chasing Rhinos with the Swami by His Grace, Shyam Sundar Prabhu. Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. There are three volumes. So in this, Srila Prabhupada makes the statement which is very famous. We should always be enthusiastic to try for capturing the rhinoceros. That way, if we succeed, then everyone will say, just see what a wonderful thing they have done. What sannyasis. So, this is the statement of Prabhupada that always aim for the rhino. Don't aim for mosquito or rat. Always aim for the rhino. Chase the rhino. Like in Hindi, our Dr. Vivek Bindra Prabhu, he was telling in that session that अगर शिकार करना ही है तो गेंडे का शिकार करो, मच्छर का शिकार मत करो, ऐसा वो बोलते हैं. तो we should always be enthusiastic to target for the rhino. So distributing Bhagavatam sets or CC sets, they are like targeting for rhinos. It is a huge task. To, how one can distribute so many sets in mass quantity? It's really amazing. So Srila Prabhupada says, if we succeed, then everyone will say, just see what a wonderful thing they have done, and people will follow. And if we don't succeed, then they will say, anyway, it is so difficult, it is impossible practically to uh, chase the rhino or to hunt the rhino. But if we succeed, if we are able to do it, then everyone will appreciate and they will follow you. Second point we see in this book, uh, there is a common theme which we can see that what Srila Prabhupada's god brothers who are stalwart sannyasis and who established so many mathas in India, they went to America, they went to London in the year 1940s, no 1930s, and instead of they transforming the Br- uh, Britishers into Vaishnavas, they got transformed and they started wearing suit, pant, coat, and everything. So Srila Prabhupada, he also he instead of going to London because he saw that his sannyasis, I mean the sannyasi god brothers, they could not succeed in Europe. So Prabhupada decided to go to America, to New York. So Prabhupada, he sent his three couples, three Grahastha couples, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Malti Mataji, Mukundam Gosai Maharaj, Janki Mataji, Gurudas Prabhu, and Yamuna Mataji. And there was 6 months old daughter of Malti Mataji and Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Saraswati. 6.5. They went and they did what stalwart sannyasis could not do in London. And the Hare Krishna was startling the whole world after they came in contact with George Harrison and they made the albums Govindam and so many records. So we can see enthusiasm, the statement which we heard uh, in that lecture in the previous slide, that enthusiasm is needed to please Guru and Krishna. That enthusiasm, utsahat nishchayat dhairya. Krishna will be so pleased. Krishna will provide everything. So Prabhupada also said, Shamsundar Prabhu in his letters while he was when Shamsundar Prabhu and devotees are preaching in London, Prabhupada made the statement that one can become Krishna conscious by preaching, or one preach and become Krishna conscious. So we should not wait. when I become Krishna conscious, then I will go and preach. When you preach, you become Krishna conscious. Or by preaching, while preaching, you are Krishna conscious. So Prabhupada said, never mind, Krishna will always help you. So this book, Aim at the Rhino, Chasing Rhinos with Swami, is very, very wonderful book for all the preachers, and it will give tremendous inspiration and enthusiasm to take up more challenge and preach the glories of Krishna consciousness as per our capacity. Okay, we'll go ahead. So these two books I said, and previously I spoke about two lectures, so that all of you can hear and read as per your time, place, and circumstances. Okay, so now we'll come to the topic: how to collect bulk orders online. So the first point I have written is about getting WhatsApp call uh, and call the people separately. Like I can tell there are so many WhatsApp group nowadays, and each one of you must be a member of some of the WhatsApp group where there are hundreds and 200 people minimum. Like for example, the Gitamrit Bindu WhatsApp group. In that group itself, there are 192 people. So, and most of them may not be having Bhagavatam set or CC set or Lilamrit set. So, what we can do, first of all, we have to get the contacts of all the people, and getting contacts is not a problem. As I mentioned, you can get contacts from WhatsApp, from Facebook, from Instagram, from anywhere, and call them. We have to call them separately, individually, and we have to talk with them and explain them everything peacefully. So you have to like what I do generally. If I want to call Mr. Patil, so I will call him and tell that Hare Krishna, and I am talking from ISKCON temple, and currently this Bhadrapada campaign is going on, and we are distributing Srimad Bhagavatam sets and Chaitanya Charitamrita sets and Prabhupada Lilamrita set at a very, very discounted price on the occasion of Prabhupada's 125th birth anniversary. And would you like to take these books? If you have Bhagavatam set, you can take CC set or you can take Lilamrit set. And in this way, we can encourage them and we can also ask about their background and inspire them to take at least some books. So you have to encourage them. Then we can also tell about the discount price. Like generally, when I call, I will tell them that the actual price of English Srimad Bhagavatam is 7,500, but we are giving in 6,200. But if you are uh, feeling it is too much, you can pay at least 6,000 rupees. And sometimes they may not be willing to pay delivery charges, so you can bear partial delivery charges, or if required, you can pay full delivery charges for them. You can tell them we can provide you free home delivery, not a problem, but please take at least some set. So very politely, in a humble manner, Trinadapi Sunichena, like we hear in our lectures. So and with full sincerity, we have to speak to them and please them to take at least some sets. Okay, sometimes they may say, okay, Dad, I heard whatever you wanted to say, and I will call you back after 2 days, or you call me after some time, after 1 or 2 days. So we have to make note of it and call that person again after 1 day, 2 day, whatever time he wants, and we have to do his follow up at least till the time he doesn't say yes or he says no. We have to do his follow up. After he says no, then we should not force him if he's saying no, that you are in Maya and you are gone case and this and that. No, if he's saying no, then we can politely thank him for his time, for listening and trying to understand what we are trying to do. And we should leave everyone with good impression. This point was made in this book, Family Business by Visheshika Prabhu, that when we leave the person who doesn't take any book from us, we should give him good impression, and we should not express anger or disgust in such a way that he will make a note that these fellows are simply, selfish, or because I am not taking the book, so they are not respecting me properly. So this is very important, that don't force anyone if they are not interested. and we have enough context. Like recently, His Grace Kanai Krishna Prabhu was giving Srimad Bhagavatam class on Sunday on the occasion of Janmashtami, and he was telling the story of the cowherd boys, how they went to the Yaggik Brahmanas, and the Yaggik Brahmanas, they didn't pay any attention. They did not give anything. Neither they said yes nor no, nothing. They just neglected. So neglect is the worst. Like it is said, if you at least say harsh word, it is understood. But to to neglect someone, it is considered as the worst of everything. So in that lecture, Prabhuji made one powerful point. He said that when we are collecting donations for Janmashtami or for preaching, many times people will not respond. They will never say yes. They will never say no. They will just uh, keep quiet while distributing books also. But we should never get discouraged. We have enough people. If 8 to 10 people are not taking, Krishna will send one person. The 11th person will be so powerful, so enthusiastic that he will do the task of all 10. What 10 people could not do, that one person will do by Krishna's mercy. But we have to endeavor. We have to keep endeavoring. So generally, I have experienced out of 10 calls, if you make on a regular basis, 8 people, 7 to 8 people will never accept. They will never take any books. But 2 people will be there always. They will take books and they will tell their friends as well to take up at least some Prabhupada book sets. So last point which I mentioned here, that we should always try to leave the person with good impression before we disconnect the call. At least one or two sweet words you can say thank you for your time, Hare Krishna, and then we can call up next person. Okay, so this is how we collect bulk orders online through WhatsApp. This is what I am doing from last 1 month, getting contacts from WhatsApp, calling them, and doing follow up. And like this, I have got some devotees who are staying in Delhi, who are staying in Bangalore, who are staying in um, Mumbai, and they are helping me to get orders. And by their help, who are staying in Indore, by their endeavors and by their contacts, that it has become very easy to distribute so many number of sets. So it is not just one person's success; it is a success of the whole group. But the thing is, because I am trying to do, uh, because I am serving in the forefront, so um, I am getting more highlighted. But actually, there are many people who are working in the background to make it happen. Okay, so later we can share the promo materials for getting donations. Like you can see here, the Bhadra campaign. I have shared 2 photos. These photos I have taken from internet from previous year, and I have modified it, and I have given my contact number. There are 2 things when you approach people. Sometimes well wishers, sometimes semi devotees. They may not be willing to take any books, but they will be inspired and encouraged to give some donation for spreading Krishna consciousness and distributing Bhagavatam sets if we present nicely. So this is the second part. Generally, what I do, if people are not interested to take the book, I will request them as my last opportunity to ask them for some donation. So, so this slide will talk about that. Ki, we encourage them to give some donation. Like there will be always good number of well-wishers who wants to serve Prabhupada, but they don't have time to distribute books. You need to tap them and ask to give sponsorship for distributing Prabhupada seats. Okay, you want to serve Prabhupada, or you have some liking, inclination to do something for Prabhupada, and but you are not able to give time because of so many responsibilities, job and everything, then at least you can financially support. You can give some donation, you can sponsor one set, and that will help tremendously to give out Bhagavatam sets and Srila Prabhupada books to so many people. Prabhupada used to say in the book, I will build you temple by Giraj Maharaj. He makes this point, powerful point. He said, Prabhupada told him that the success of our preaching is either 2 things. One, a person he should become 16 rounder and follow for regulatory principles, and he should serve the mission. Or second, if he is not becoming 16 rounder or for or following the principles, then he should become life member and give donation and support the cause of Krishna consciousness. So same thing. Our purpose is two things: a person whom we are preaching on call, calling them and asking them for taking books. Either he should take books. If he is already having books, he is having Bhagavatam said, he is having CC said, he is having all Prabhupada books. Then we should preach and speak in such a way that he should give some donation. He should give some donation, or he should give some sponsorship, some Lakshmi for sponsoring and distributing Srimad Bhagavatam sets, Srila Prabhupada books. And last point in this slide, I have mentioned that whatever donations we ask and collect from people, it should directly go in Sankirtan books account, and we should not take any donation or Lakshmi in our personal account, salary account or bank account. And while giving donation in Sankirtan Judas temple account, they can put in comment your name, and you can ask them to put that referred by Kaushik and so devotee, and for so and so Bhagavatam sets, and for giving Lakshmi for purchasing so and so Srila Prabhupada books. So ideally, this is the best practice, that we should avoid Lakshmi coming into our account, and we should ask, we should share with them temple account details, and Lakshmi should be transferred directly in the Judas bank account, and that will be used for clearing the challenge. Okay, we'll go ahead. So here you can see the price list. I have put it here. In this price list, you can see the English actual price 7500 and discounted price 6200. Sometimes I will offer them in 6000 if that will help. If the, if uh, that is helping the person to become inspired and take books. So 100 200 rupees we can give off, but not always. Uh, to make it a round figures, 6000, it sounds more reasonable for some people, or for Hindi also. Sometimes they are not willing to take in 4700, so I offer them at 4500. So they are more inspired to take the books at 4500. So in this way, um, after they confirm the order based on the price list which is shared by temple Jude office, we can, instead of like earlier we used to go manually to the Jude office and place the order and do everything manually. Now it has become so smooth that we can go to website iskonbooks.jude.org. Like here you can see, I have uh, kept one screenshot of ISKCON Pune's Judas website, and all the books of Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada disciples are there on this website. So we can go there, and we can place the order. It's very easy. Like, you must have experience placing orders on Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, this and that. So it is very similar to that. We can go to ISKCON Books, jude.org, and place the order. So same point which I was telling earlier, that many times people are not willing to pay delivery charges. So we can also bear delivery charges and collect donations to fill the gap. Either you can pay from your salary. If you are not comfortable, you should collect donations from people who want to distribute Prabhupada books, but they don't have time. So you can tap them and inspire them to give some donation for helping others to get more and more Srila Prabhupada sets. And like I mentioned earlier, that many people are more comfortable with 6000 or 4500. So we can compromise little bit as per time plus circumstance, and you can give them discount of 200 rupees, and you can pay from your pocket, or you can ask donation and engage others money also in this noble cause of serving Srila Prabhupada by distributing Srimad Bhagavatam sets in this Bhadra campaign. Okay, so last point in this slide I have mentioned, our goal should be to distribute maximum sets within the boundaries of our financial strength and capabilities. That as per our financial capacity and understanding our limitations and our area of influence and affluence and all those things, we should do reasonable endeavor and distribute maximum sets within the limit of our boundaries, financial boundaries, and our sadhana and everything should go smoothly. Along with that, we can try to distribute more and more Prabhupada books. Okay, we'll go ahead. So this is the second slide, third slide in the connection. First one I spoke about how we can collect orders, how we can get orders from WhatsApp. And in that slide, I spoke about encouraging people to take up Bhagavatam sets, 60 sets, Prabhupada Lilamrita set. In second slide, I spoke about collecting donations from people. And if they are already having books, we can speak in a way that they are encouraged and inspired to give donation for Prabhupada. And you can tell always that this year we are celebrating 125th birth anniversary of Prabhupada, and now Bhadra campaign is going on. So please, at least take one set of Prabhupada books and help us and distribute them in profuse quantity. So in this way, we can easily sell one set per person whom we are approaching. It can be Lilamrita, CC, or Srimad Bhagavatam. Basically, we are focusing on Srimad Bhagavatam, but we can also try and distribute CC set and Prabhupada Lil- Lilamrita set also. Okay, we'll go ahead. Yeah, so we are in this slide. Where should I put myself? Okay. This photo I have copied from the last year's marathon from February. In February month, we had prize distribution for 2020 book distribution marathon, and you can see that the goal was 4 lakh and we distributed 4 lakh 318 Mahavir books. Similarly, the goal is 5,000 Srimad Bhagavatam sets for ISKCON Pune, and we'll try to distribute double 10,000 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. We'll see. So this is very important that we ourselves give for this cause of distributing Prabhupada books. We should at least give some sponsorship, or we can purchase some set, and by our own example, we can inspire everyone. Like Maharaj says, His Holiness Rajan Sai Maharaj, he has made this statement that the greatest charity is to give a person Krishna consciousness. Give that person an opportunity to be delivered from cycle of birth and death. Bhurita Jana. Like we know the pastime of King Pratap Rudra when he was massaging the feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that Jagannath Vallabh garden, and he started reciting the Gopi Gitam. And when he came to ninth verse, and he started saying, Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhiruritam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Kavi Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana. So Bhakti Maharaj says in his lecture that this Bhurida Jana, this the gopis are singing this verse. This Bhurida Jana also refers to Srila Prabhupada. How Srila Prabhupada is so compassionate, so magnanimous, that he has taken the trouble to leave Vrindavan, headquarter of Krishna's divine pastimes, and to go to New York, which is the headquarter of Maya's activities. Exactly opposite, just to give Krishna consciousness, Bhurita Jana, that such magnanimous souls are very rare. They are very compassionate because they are doing the greatest charity. So we ourselves, before we ask people that they should take some books or they should give some donation, we ourselves should be involved and should practice this whole principle of giving charity for the cause of spreading Krishna consciousness. And this is very important because Krishna sitting as super soul in your heart, in his heart, he will see that this fellow who is preaching that you should give for Krishna, give for Krishna, give some Lakshmi for distributing proper sets. If he sees the super soul, he understands everything. So he knows if the person himself is not following, so he will not encourage and inspire the person whom we are preaching to give some donation or to take up some books. So it's very, very important that we don't become miser, but we become giver. We ourselves practice this principle of being a giver and help to spread this movement to propagate Krishna consciousness. And that will be very, very effective, and it will come, it will reflect in our preaching, and that will inspire and encourage others to give more and more in service of Srila Prabhupada. Again, so this is one thing that miser people, the Kripan, this verse comes in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita 2.7, that the Kripan, the miser person, he will not enjoy the money himself, and he will not use the money for charitable activities, for pious activities, thinking that the money will protect me in future. So that also we'll discuss in the last slide of today's presentation. I have kept one separate slide for this point, being a miser and being a giver. Then complacency and compassion. So this is very important that one, actually when we went to Tirupati temple in January, His Grace Revati Raman Prabhu, the temple president of ISKCON Tirupati, Radha Govind temple. The whole temple, if you know the history, the whole temple of ISKCON Tirupati was built on book distribution. He has taken a loan of 35,000 from uh, Narmada Maharaj, who was in charge of BBT in those days in 1994, 1995. And by taking loan from BBT and bringing all those cartoons and cartoons of books in Tirupati, and he distributed those books in TTD on the hill in that, um, what is that? Vindhyachal mountain where Lord Balaji says. So on distributing the books after books, they built such a magnanimous temple. So Prabhuji was telling in our meeting that one quality which Lord gets attracted very much in the living entity is compassion. This is the quality which Lord likes very much in the devotees, the compassion, the desire to help others and mitigate the suffering and bring them to Krishna. So this compassion, this quality is very, very dear to Krishna. So, but our problem is we become complacent. We become complacent and we think, ठीक है, आज नहीं, कल करेंगे, परसों करेंगे, बाद में करेंगे, next year करेंगे. So like this, we lose time and we lose opportunity. Maharaj says in the lecture, failure as stepping stone to success. He says that when opportunity knocks the door, most of the people will simply complain. They will not realize that this is the opportunity for me to grow in life. They will simply complain and complain, nothing else. So we should shift from being complacent towards being compassionate, and we should endeavor to reach out to people, talk to them, encourage them, inspire them to take up at least some Prabhupada sets. And if they're not willing to take Prabhupada sets, they should at least try to give whatever they want, some donation in the mission of spreading this Krishna consciousness movement. Very important point I heard in Radha Maharaj lecture in the 1990 series. Maharaj says that more than what we give, Krishna sees what we hold. He tells the story. I think Rasham also says this story that one time two people, they entered the temple hall, and both the people, they gave 500 rupees donation in that hundi. 500 rupees. The first man also gave 500, second man also gave 500. But Prabhuji said that the Lord was pleased with one person and he was not so much pleased, or he was displeased with second person. So he explained why. Because the first person, he was earning 5,000 rupees a month, and as an offering of love for the Lord, he came and gave 500 rupees. And the second person, second fellow, he was earning 5 lakh rupees a month, and because he is miser, he only gave 500, thinking that अरे भगवान को दे दूंगा तो फिर मेरे पास क्या बचेगा. If I give everything to Krishna, what will remain with me? So this kind of materialistic attitude that if I give to Krishna, I will lose everything. This is not favorable, or this is not conducive for our practice in spiritual life. His Grace Radhesham Prabhu says in one lecture I was hearing, I think same lecture, coming out of the comfort zone. He was telling we should never think. He was giving an example that during Janmashtami times, sometimes the devotee has a tug of war in the mind कि should I give 5,000 or 10,000? भगवान को कितना देना चाहिए इस बार? कोरोना आ गया है, जॉब में पैसा भी कम मिल रहा है और खर्चे भी ज़्यादा हो रहे हैं. तो should I give 5,000 or 10,000? So Prabhuji was telling it is always better to give more, because he says whatever you give, Krishna will multiply it million times and give you back. Maybe right away in this lifetime or maybe in next lifetime, but he will definitely give back whatever you are giving, because he doesn't hold anything. He will give with million time interest of whatever charity you have made. So he was telling this point, very powerful point he made, that we should always try to give more. Then, more we give for propagating Krishna consciousness, more our still framed heart will soften like butter. In 17th chapter, Krishna says about three types of charity: charity in mode of goodness, charity in mode of passion, charity in mode of ignorance. So, this charity in mode of goodness, giving charity, spending Lakshmi, our hard earned money, for the right cause of preaching Krishna consciousness, spreading Krishna consciousness, that will really, really help us to attract the mercy of Lord Nityanand Prabhu, Gaur Nitai, Srila Prabhupada, and by their mercy, our still framed heart, which is like stone, which is so hard, and there is hardly any feeling for the Lord, that still heart will start softening like butter. And here I have m- m- mentioned the verse Raso Varjam Raso Pasya Param Dishtva Nivartate. That when we take our responsibility for Krishna consciousness and when we engage ourselves in that higher test, in that spiritual bliss which is there by helping others to mitigate the suffering, that will give us higher test in Krishna consciousness, and then the lower test will automatically go away. Same point I have mentioned again, that one cannot encourage others to give unless he himself is practicing the principle of giving for Krishna. Again, last point, that verse is there, 2.40. Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpam apyas dharmasya trayate mahto bhayat. There is no loss or diminution on this path. Even little if someone does, it will remain with eternally. Like we hear na, that if we have completed 10% spiritual practice in this life, in next life you will begin from how many? 11%. But if you complete 100% success in material life, again, punarapi janama, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani chatre shayanam, e sansare, e nistare, pahi murare. So, without the help of Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot uh, come out of this cycle of repeated birth and death. We may become successful 100% in material life, but again we have to begin from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, all these things. So we should never hesitate to give for Krishna, for Prabhupada, thinking that अरे इनको दे दूंगा तो मेरे पास क्या बचेगा. No, they will always give you back, either materially in terms of dhanam janam sundarim, whatever you have desired in your heart, or spiritually in terms of higher taste, in terms of advancement, in terms of realizations. So it's very, very important that we inculcate and cultivate and practice and develop this principle of giving for Krishna. Very important. And also in to, today's Ekadashi, and today is also the Vyas Puja celebration, 77th Vyas Puja celebration of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So Maharaji was telling in morning class that we can have millions and millions of rupees in Swiss account. After you die, not a single penny will come to help you. But this chanting of the holy name and propagating Krishna consciousness will come with us life after life until and unless we go back home, back to Godhead. And he was comparing with artificial happiness and real happiness. Artificial happiness, we go to hotels, we go to cinemas, we watch television, we watch cricket. This will simply give false happiness, artificial happiness. Like he was giving the example of mirage and water. There is no water in the mirage in the Registan, but still, out of ignorance, the fellow thinks there is some happiness. There is no happiness, but still, because he's illusioned. That verse Krishna says that Namam Dushkritino Buddha Padjante Naradama Maya Apritnanam Aswam Bhavash. The Maya, whose knowledge is stolen by illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Maya Devi. He will never be able to understand that there is no happiness in this world. There is no happiness. And he says the real happiness is in Krishna consciousness, is in chanting the holy name, is in reading Prabhupada books, is in hearing Prabhupada lectures, lectures of devotees, and preaching and propagating Krishna consciousness. So this is very important that we become a giver, and when we are giving, others will get inspired and encouraged to give and spread this Krishna consciousness movement in every town and village. Okay, we'll go ahead. So this is the last slide of one of the last slides. After that, we will cover last two slides. Prabhupada says this powerful point in Second Chance. I read in one chapter. I am not able to recollect. Srila Prabhupada says, whatever practices you are doing, that everything will be tested thoroughly at the time of death. Death is a final exam. He gives the example of parrot in that same context. Prabhupada says, parrot, he may learn to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Like, but if you come and catch his neck, and when his life is in danger, he will say pa 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 pa, or his own language. That kind of practice we don't want to do. That when danger comes, we forget everything, whatever we have learned in last so many years. So Prabhupada says this point that whatever Krishna conscious practice we are doing now, that will be tested at time of death, and it will decide as per the law of last thought whether we'll go back home back to Godhead, or again we have to take birth in this very life. So this photo you can see here, this is the photo of departed Vaishnavas who died recently in last couple of months due to COVID. They are very young. Most of them, if you see here, this Rasik Kumar Prabhu, we had a Vaishnav memorial for him in Pune temple, and down you can see His Grace Sridhar Krishna Prabhu also, and our Sachinandan Charan Prabhu. Many of them. I have just given some 10 12 photos. If you visit this website, devoteecare.org, this website is made by the Bhaktivedanta Hospital devotees, and on that you have to visit this section. Pandemic departed devotees. They have made a database of all the devotees who have departed because of Corona, and at a very very young age, many of them, 40 45, they are gone. So in the Kevalashtakam song, we sing this verse every time. Nishvasena hi vishvasa kada ruddho bhavishyati kirtaniya mato balyad harer namaiva kevalam harer namaiva kevalam. Translation: there is no certainty when the last breath will come and put abrupt to all our activities. That's why Krishna, your holy name, is my only shelter. Hare Namaiva Kevalam. So we have to understand. श्वास लेते लेते कब श्वास थम जाए इसका कोई भरोसा नहीं है. Our Gauram Prabhu says this line in his lecture in Hindi. So he says that we are taking breath, we are breathing every now and then, but we don't understand which breath will be our last breath and will be put into death. We never know. That verse Shri Brahmaji says 14:8, 10:8:14, where he says that I think 10:8:14 is no 10:14:8. In that verse he says Tatyano Kambam Mikshamano, and 10:14:59th verse he says that Padam Padam Yat Padam Natesham. In this material world there is danger at every step. Anytime anything can happen to anyone. We never know. We cannot understand. Like same point I have said. You must have heard about these two personalities that yesterday this Das Shukla, he began his career from the TV serial Balika Vadhu, and he was very popular person, very popular, very famous person. He died yesterday because of cardiac arrest. Within moment, one heart attack, finish. No medical history, no chronic disease, no illness, nothing. One heart attack, finish. Before him, few months before, Rohit, he was Astak TV channel anchor, and millions of people would watch his television show. He also cardiac arrest, finish. Within moments, he was finished. So the point I wanted to make here, this is very important point. I have observed many times that people will say, "आज नहीं कल करेंगे, बाद में करेंगे, next day करेंगे." We always procrastinate for the mission of Guru and Krishna, and we think that let me save some more money now, and that money will help me in future. But we hardly realize, we hardly realize that the death can anytime knock us down. So that's why we need to wake up, and we should take up more responsibility before our last day comes in life. We should at least endeavor to do something for praising Srila Prabhupada, for distributing his mercy, for spreading Krishna consciousness, for praising Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. That's very important, so that our life doesn't become a failure. Aya Ram, Gaya Ram. We should be very cautious that anytime anything can happen, and we will miss the opportunity. We can do so much for Prabhupada. Only thing is we have to be in proper attitude while doing our seva for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. So it's very important. His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj, he tells one story in one lecture of one boy, uh, a medical student boy. He he was attending the Prerna festivals regularly. He was from BJ Medical College, and he was class topper. So on that day, there was one festival in the evening by Gaurang Prabhu, and on the same evening, the college also arranged one festival to recognize and appreciate and glorify the toppers of the class, and party and dance and everything. So he had a choice whether should I give for the party or should I come for the festival. So he thought, oh, this is not the age for doing all these things. Anyway, I can do it later also. So he went for the party, and he was dancing in the discotheque. And Maharaj says, after a few minutes, the person got a cardiac arrest, he got a heart attack, and he died right away on that dance floor. So he was telling in that lecture, this lecture is very old lecture given in 90s. So he was telling, Krishna gave him the opportunity, whether you want to dance for him or you want to dance for this material world, for Maya Devi. And he chose to dance for the external energy of the Lord. And he died right there on the spot. He was finished. 23-year-old at a very young age. He was just finished. So Maharaj was telling that we never know when we'll go away. No one can tell. So that's why we need to take up Krishna consciousness and opportunities which are available in Krishna consciousness very seriously. So this is very important, and we need to understand that any moment we can be put into a dangerous si- si- situation. Right now, I have the opportunity. I can serve Srila Prabhupada, and I can please Hari Guru Vaishnavas by preaching Krishna consciousness and practicing Krishna consciousness to the best of my capacity. So this is very important, and I have shared this website name at the bottom of the photo. Devotees can go and visit that and see how many people have died without any notice in this pandemic period. We can go to now last slide. So the topic I have given the name miracle, the miracles during Bhadra campaign. So this is the first point I wanted to make, miracle one. Already I have passed lot of time. It is more than 1 hour. So we'll continue this in the next video. I will release one more video to discuss the miracles which happened in this campaign while trying to distribute Srila Prabhupada sets, Srimad Bhagavatam, CC set, Lilamrita set. So all those miracles and the conclusion part that I will share in my next video after this Bhadrapada campaign is over. So I hope all of you have got some glimpse from the presentation which I have shared with all of you, and some photos I have shared here from my last year's book distribution, and this photo of Prabhuji, His Grace uh, Vardraj Prabhu. This photo is from few years before. Like, he is also very enthusiastic in distributing Prabhupada books, especially conducting college programs, school programs, and giving Bhagavad Gita to small children and shaping their future in a Krishna conscious way. So this first photo was a photo taken in 2019 before a pandemic came into picture, and this photo where I am giving whole set of books to one shopkeeper. This photo was taken few months before during a marathon time. So I have put one quote here. This quote is from the book, The Transcendental Nectar of Book Distribution. So in that book, the devotee has quoted Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says, distributing the books will make devotees. The more we distribute books, the more we can make devotees. The more devotees, what is the statement? More devotees, happy devotees. So we have to keep endeavoring to our best of the capacity to go out, I mean, to reach out and encourage people and distribute them more and more books. So this is the last slide of today Q&A. So I will share this recording on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. You can visit. You can also put your questions on the comment box, or you can reach out to me on my cell, WhatsApp, email ID, and I will be happy to serve you all in the best capacity and best possible way. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much all for patiently hearing this video on Bhadra campaign and techniques which I have been practicing and using from last couple of weeks to distribute more and more Srila Prabhupada books. And definitely, after this campaign is done, everything is done, I will release one more video and will share the scores and the case studies and some more realizations in that video. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Jai Prabhupada.